So we get to know more about RSVP. Now let us know more about the food bank. What do you do? Like, what does the organization do?
Well, for Food Bank, actually, our mission and vision, I guess, is very simple. We're trying to eradicate hunger in Singapore. And I think in Singapore, there's a lot of food insecurity. So when I say food insecurity, what happens is, we did a poll, we did a study with Lian Foundation with for Social Innovation at SMU, where there is 1 in 10 Singaporeans that are food insecure. What we mean by food insecure is that 1 in 10 Singaporeans do not have enough money to put food on the table for the entire month. Wow. So this is so basically this is an issue, and I think in a first world country like Singapore, we shouldn't be nobody should be facing such issues. So we're trying to take excess food, trying to tell people not to waste food, recycle, redonate, and pass it to us. And we actually work with over 750 organizations, and we work with over 300,000 families.
Wow. I think the very first time that you guys came out, I first spotted your organization at the shopping malls, So I was like, that's a brilliant idea, So it's great to finally see the people behind the food bank. And next, let's move on to Shamima. Would you like to tell us the mission and the vision of the National Library Board?
Well, the National Library Board's mission is actually to encourage reading, community, give a sense of history, and the other thing is that it actually enables people to volunteer because they have a Friend of the Library program, and they encourage anyone without any skills to just volunteer. Their areas cover, they have a lot of coverage. They also, it's possible to volunteer to do things that's from their home remotely because of the Citizen Archivist project. They also enable people to, well, like I said, there are 28 libraries, and the library is not only just a public library, it also includes the National Archives as well as the Ford Foundation Factory.
I see. So all three of them are either founders or volunteers with the organization. So today, I just want to ask Shamima as well as Michelle to share with us, tell us more about your journey for volunteering. So what inspired you? For example, did you just chance upon this? Or did you decide to do this upon retirement? So share with us. Maybe Shamima, would you like to share with us?
Well, I chanced upon volunteering with the library. I've always loved libraries. And thought that, it'd be wonderful to work with the library. And then one day I was going through the website and I came across this page that said, we could sign up as a volunteer. So I put in my name and my email address. And then after that, received an email from the library to turn up for a presentation.
Oh, presentation.
Yeah. And then they were recruiting volunteers for the Istana Heritage Gallery. And I signed up for that, and that was my first experience. And then after that, at the same time, I also got an email from the National Library, and they were going to open a new library, the Tampines Regional Library. And so with the Tampines Regional Library, I started volunteering in 2017. And then started the Ukulele Jamming Club at Tampines. In 2016, I also started the Singapore Literature Book Club. In 2017, I started volunteering with Tampines Library. 2018, I started the Tampines Library Jamming Club, and that took off. It became so popular, and we moved on to other clubs as well, and we started one at Woodlands Library this year. So somehow it just evolved my volunteering journey.
Yes, it's ever evolving, and also over the years that you have counted, you have spearheaded many activities, and also during the pandemic, you have spearheaded some activities, and you are also into some kind of ukulele jamming, isn't it?
Oh yes, we started off with the first ukulele jamming group at Tampines Library.
I would love to catch you in action. Maybe we should play a little clip of you jamming the rest. it's like play along, sing along.
Yes, that's what's so wonderful about it. We engage everybody who comes.
Yes, and music makes the world go round.
Yes.
Indeed. Okay, thank you, Shamima, for sharing with us. Next, Michelle, would you like to share with us how did you, embark on this journey with RSVP?
Right, sure. So I actually had participated in episodic kind of volunteering in my previous company. And when I stopped full-time work, I decided to set aside time for volunteering is because I find it fulfilling. So I started looking around for organizations where I could volunteer and came across RSVP Singapore, which has this wide range of activities. So I decided to try it out. And I recall my first experience was at the National Dental Center, where I helped with concierge service, helping the patients, the senior patients on registration using the self-help kiosk and helping them with directions. And then I moved on to volunteer with Singapore Art Museum. And for that, I picked up and know more about contemporary art. Yes, so we actually have a segment that they call Kopi Teh and Contemporary Art, where we actually introduce some of the contemporary art pieces, brought seniors into the museum and helped do the guiding, sharing with them and chatting with them in dialect or in a language that they are familiar with.
How many dialects do you speak?
Actually, I'm not fluent in it, but I'm picking it back. So I'm Hokkien, so I speak Hokkien, and then try a little bit of Teochew. And when I understand Cantonese, but no, I don't speak that. Right. Yes, and there are also other activities like even conducting tours at Haw-Par Villa, right? And recently, the activity that I'm most passionate about is actually training the seniors to use smartphone applications. So we do have a center at Majestic in Chinatown where the seniors sign up for the classes. They come in and we actually deliver training to them, like how to use PayLah, how to order food using Foodpanda, right? And even using the apps to go shopping at fair price. So it was kind of fun because you see that the seniors, they are really trying their effort to learn. So yes, this is some of the activities that I've been helping out at RSVP Singapore.
Thank you. It seems like a very comprehensive, services that you provide in RSVP. And in fact, it can be quite fun, because it covers many facets. It could be arts, and it could be food packing. So it's very varied. Now, let's move on to our next speaker, Nicholas, to talk more about the food bank. So we need to learn more about, what the volunteer experience, or rather, what do the volunteers do in food bank, and maybe do you see like a need to build the capabilities of volunteers and maybe volunteer managers in your organization?
I think let me try and go through the.
That's right.
Yeah, we've got a few programs. So I think the first one is just bank boxes. For some of you, you might have seen this in like Shell petrol stations, Cold Storage and Giants and all that. Basically, we are encouraging people to donate their excess food, just package items that if somebody came to your house for a party and gave you a box of chocolate, you can just drop it off because you don't feel like eating that box of chocolates. We can donate it to the needy people. Another program will be food bundles. This is something that especially the corporates would like to do because you can really engage the teams, the staff, and then you can pack, and then you can actually give out the bundles to the households as well. Then another thing, of course, is food drives. Food drives pre-pandemic was very popular with schools.
Yeah.
So we had schools trying to outdo each other. We sort of planted the seed where we told them this school did 5 tons, then another school would say, I want to do 10 tons, and so on and so forth. So we tried to do some competition. Something else, another program is actually we try to do tech because volunteers are a little bit harder to find. So this is a shout out for all volunteers, but we try to do tech as well. So we have a vending machine where we actually give bank cards out to these needy families, and they can all these vending machines are usually found at the HDB flats at the bottom, where all the rental flats and all that.
Yes.
And you can actually redeem any of the food.
I think that's really super convenient and a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So another thing that we're doing is we actually, with the cards, it was first from vending machines for dried goods. After that, subsequently, it's with frozen food. And then now we have opened up the bank card so that you can redeem food at selected
Participating.
F&B. Yeah. So this includes Subway, Facing Groups, and all that. So families can actually come out and they don't just have to sit at home to wait for bundles to come to the house. They can go out and have a 6-inch sub. So yeah, I won't go through this, but basically it's if people give money to us, we'll put money into the cards, and the cards will actually, the people will actually be able to use it.
Yeah, so I think it's a very smart way of using it as well. I think many organizations, there's no right or wrong, but then many organizations are still like distributing like paper cards so that it goes certain outlets, they get a stamp and all. Yeah, it works the same, you know, with the bank card. So we are looking for volunteers. So if you are watching this and you feel like volunteering, you can always check our website out. Okay. So now, thank you for sharing with us, Nicholas, on what food bank does. Now we have a more in-depth perception. Later on, I'll come back with a question that I always have in mind about your food bank. Okay. Next question is maybe directed to Shamima. Would you like to share with us? Are there certain kind of skill sets that we are looking for in volunteers, or do you think they actually learn on the go, like learn after volunteering?
Well, with NLB, you definitely can learn on the go. You can learn after volunteering. Don't need any specific skill sets.
Nothing at all?
Nothing. You just need to have a passion. Passion for volunteering, wanting to make a difference. And then what you do is go to the website, key in, you know, just update, put in your information and your email, and later on you can see how they can do that. And they can volunteer. There's so many volunteering opportunities. We have the, for instance, the library is opening, the new library will be opening in Punggol next year. And the library is recruiting volunteers for that. On top of that, as I explained much earlier, anytime, if you're not sure, if you know, it's so simple. Just go to the website, provide your information, or send an email to volunteer@nlb.government.sg. Just say we want to volunteer, and then the library will follow up after that.
Yeah, it's so simple. It just starts with you asking how I can volunteer, right?
Yes.
I also remember like a personal experience, like I was telling my friends, like, oh, let's go and volunteer, just giving, you know, like bazang to the folks before pandemic. And then my friend was like, how are we going to do this? It was like, just go to this website. There's always ad hoc events that you could volunteer with. So I have to be like the one like, hey, let's do this. And then like, okay, we'll follow you. So, you know, sometimes we have events and then we're like, I'll just tell them, oh, sorry, today I cannot make it, but you guys go ahead. It's like, no, we cannot do this without you. I said, you can, and I'm sure you will be able. And right after the first episode, they were on their own. Then the future events, they were on their own. So it really starts with the very first episode, the very first event, and it's not so hard after all. There's so many websites. Just go and sign up and have a willing heart and have a passion. So also to RSVP, would there be a specific kind of a requirements for the skills for your volunteers?
No, just like Shamima, right? She mentioned, no skill needed, yes. Actually, only if you are doing training for specific technology. Otherwise, well, you really do not need a skill. In fact, you learn through the volunteering journey, and along the way, you pick up, you gain experience, you observe others, what they do, right? But what is more important is that you must have the heart. You must be passionate, committed, and be patient, because some of the people that we work with, they are seniors, they are vulnerables, and they do not speak and communicate to us in the same way as us and our friends, right? So we have to be patient and slow down and listen to them, right? And RSVP Singapore does offer soft skill trainings to equip our volunteers to be able to be effective volunteers. And even our partner organizations, they also conduct trainings and briefings to us so that we can be effective when we help out at their sites. Yeah, so it's really learning through volunteering.
Yes, that's right. So you don't really need any specific skill sets unless it's tech related. Thank you for sharing with us, Michelle. Next question I want to ask you, you know, like during this pandemic, right, a lot of things have changed, and I'm sure that the landscape for volunteerism has changed. So how has it changed for your organization and for you personally? Maybe Shamima can share with us?
Well, when COVID happened and everything came to a standstill and people had to stay at home, a lot of the libraries' activities were cancelled. In fact, because a lot of my activities were with seniors, ours was cancelled when DOSCON turned orange even before the shutdown. So then in April, two of the librarians who were involved in activities, one was a librarian with a book club, and the other was a librarian with the Tampines, who was supporting the Tampines Library Jammers. Now, going on Zoom for the book club is easy enough. So, but, it requires somebody to come forward and say, okay, so I spoke with the librarian and she said, yes, we can go on Zoom. We just had to get the speakers to agree to go on Zoom. It also meant an education process for people to go on Zoom. And then the Tampines Jammers was a very big challenge. Because as we all know, there's a lag when you speak on Zoom. So jamming is about people singing together, and suddenly you can't do that on Zoom. So I was a bit hesitant, but then I said, okay. But because the librarian, Felix, was so keen, I said, okay, we'll see how we can make it work. And we managed to make it work. We just adapted and, took into consideration how that. And I'm so glad we did, because we had to cancel our physical jamming sessions for 2 years. And we only went back live this year in January. So by going on Zoom, it meant that we didn't have to suspend our activities. And it also meant that people who were stuck at home could also play and strum along and join us. And so many people were desperate for activities. We were happy to have as many as 50 people joining us on Zoom. On top of that, it also enabled me to have, you could say, encourage people to step up and be song leaders on Zoom. So it also led to the development of a lot of our members who became more confident about leading songs and playing solo.
I see. So we just adapt with times.
Yes, we do.
And to Michelle from RSVP, how has it changed for your organization during a pandemic? Was it more challenging?
Yeah, right. So for RSVP, all the time the volunteering has been on site. So with COVID, so all these volunteering at hospitals, at nursing homes, all these have to stop.
You can't visit them.
Yes, we can't visit them. And so we started also, like NLB, getting people ready to be able to shift volunteering online. So we also run training, Zoom training for our senior volunteers. And a lot of senior volunteers, they are not technology savvy, but everyone was so willing to learn this new technology because everyone still wants to continue to volunteer even during the pandemic, right? So with the training, we were able to continue volunteering online. Like for example, for me, I was able to help SGH Pharmacy to do training to patients using Zoom for those who wanted to learn how to order the medication delivery using Health Buddy. We also have helped Singapore Art Museum share about contemporary art through Zoom session, from video recording with Facebook streaming. And for the nursing home, we actually had a project with them that required us to be on site, working with the residents on art and craft, but the activity had to stop. So after a while, we also got them back on by having conversation with the seniors in the nursing home using Zoom. But of course, that came with challenge because, again, the residents at the nursing home, they were not familiar, they were not used to using laptop, didn't know how to navigate Zoom. So they needed help from their caregivers, from the therapists at the nursing home. But gradually, we got back the traction and we were able to chat with the seniors over Zoom, and yeah, it went all smoothly. And after a while, they start to open up and were able to continue the conversation with us. Yeah, so I was
Excellent.
glad that
Yeah.
technology did help.
Did it
during
help
this
in
period.
this sense, right? It accelerated a lot of things. Thank you for sharing. And also during this period of time, for personally, like for me, when I know this pandemic happened, a lot of people are not able to go out of their homes. And of course, I also can't visit my family or my mom. So a lot of people, like at the thought of their mind would be like thinking, oh, so what's going to happen to their family? But actually my mind was like thinking, oh, what's going to happen to all these elderlies and who are depending on people to distribute food to them? So what will happen if the volunteers doesn't get out their home, and to deliver food? So that was my first question. So sorry, Ma, I was thinking about them. Yeah, then because we volunteer for some cupboard holders and we usually have a community and we bring food for them. So that was my first question. And then of course the family was like, oh no, you don't go volunteering because then you bring the the Delta variant back, and then we have young, we have old at home. How? So I'm sure that this is a constant challenge, especially for food bank. Did you guys, Nicholas, manage to distribute food even during pandemic? And because a lot of people are hesitant to get out of their household, and even if they are willing, their family will be like stopping them. So was it more challenging to get volunteers during this period? And right now, what are the processes that continue after COVID? Or rather,
I think during the pandemic, we wish we could virtually distribute
deliver.
food,
Yeah, we can't.
but that doesn't really
Yeah.
happen, right? Physically, you still have to do it. Surprisingly, we were actually, in the beginning, we were very worried that we didn't have any volunteers. But surprisingly, I think we had a lot of people sign up. We did a shout out for volunteers. A lot of people signed up. We had to figure out the rules at that time. The rules kept changing.
Yes.
So, but I think one thing that really drove us as well was because some of the family service centers that we were supporting, they actually called us and said, look, we were considered non-essential and we can't operate. And we were like, okay. So, but luckily at Food Bank, we were considered essential. So what happened during this time was we actually figured out the rules. We actually still got volunteers to come in, but we, for example, we told them in advance where you had to do the distribution from. We left the food and then we gave it out. So it actually worked very well during the pandemic. And but I think now after the pandemic, we have been quite lucky that these volunteers still stayed with us, and they've continued to volunteer. And I hope everybody else who hasn't signed up for anybody or any organization do sign up.
Wow, yes, that's right. I think at any point of time, we are always looking for volunteers because it'd be great. It's a blessing if our volunteers stay with us, but we do need more people during this period of time, okay? Thank you for sharing with us. I'm also very intrigued, and I do want to know what truly inspired you guys to like volunteer in the very first place. Maybe we'll start with Shamima. Why do you choose to, volunteer with NLB? What motivated you? Can it be just one day you just decided to go to the website and type NLB?
Oh, I stumbled into volunteering. It wasn't really that I want to volunteer and where can I volunteer. Okay. A couple of things happened. One was that I attended a memoir writing class at the library. Discovered some great books written by local authors. And I thought I would like to encourage other people to read these authors. And so I set out to find out how to set up a book club at the library. And so that was how the book club was set. Then at the same time, while exploring the website, I did happen to see this call for volunteers. And so put in my name. And then I was supposed to identify which library. I couldn't because there were so many libraries. I love going to libraries. So it's not that I stick to one particular library, but anywhere I happen to go, I will just go. And then there were so many things I was interested in, but anyway, I just submitted it. And so when the emails came from the library about opportunities, I attended and then I signed up for them. So one was the Istana Heritage Gallery, as I mentioned, and the other one was the Tampines Library, and that was meant to be shelving and so on, and then moved on. So that was interesting. Then I also happened to attend a course at the library. Some computer course. And as part of that course, I was actually given the opportunity to find out more about the Citizen Archivist project. And so I sat there and thought, oh, this was fun. So I stumbled into it, found great joy, and then just moved on from one activity to another as it evolved.
So it's good to already, it's easy for us to find something to volunteer. But however, of course, I think to stay by volunteering might be quite tough. So what is your inspiration behind staying, like continue to stay to volunteer?
Because I find that there is a demand for the activities and the interest groups that has been set up. People love, I mean, there's always people wanting to join. It spreads by word of mouth. And also the happiness. I mean, the fact that people want to join means that those who are there are happy. And so others people want to join. The other main thing about it was, it gave me a sense of purpose. But a wonderful thing about that was that in the process, I also found out by creating these interest groups, we could find new volunteers. Like for instance, I mean, we managed to set up the Let's Dance group because through this group, I met someone who was keen to teach dancing. So I said, okay, you can volunteer to teach. I'll find a library for you to do it. So it's that sharing the sense of community.
Yeah, the constant motivation behind this, yes. And I'm sure that that's a kind of a motivation for you as well, right, Michelle? That you volunteer and you continue to stay.
Yes, right.
Share with us.
Well, I like change and I enjoy challenges. So the wide range of activities that RSVP has actually interests me. And I actually got to do things that I have not embarked on during my corporate world. I actually got to be an MC for one of the health events that was recently held in Marsiling, where we had, I was the host for the session Living with
COVID.
COVID.
Like being an MC?
Yes, that was fun. Right, and also acted in some video clips. Right, but what motivates me to stay on is actually there are some heartwarming moments that you encounter through volunteering. So I mentioned that we work very closely with Singapore Art Museum. So we have this collaboration with them, and together with the Society of Aged Sick, which is a nursing home. And the project actually was to empower seniors and to show that seniors can create contemporary art too. So for that, we were supposed to visit the nursing home together with the artists. And it was on a weekly basis. And the artist would share with the seniors at the nursing home what his ideas and what they were supposed to embark on. And for us, volunteers, we will sit next to our residents at the nursing home and chit-chat with them, encourage them to draw, to color. And for our first session, we met at, say, 1:30 because the weekly session was supposed to be 2 p.m. every Wednesday. So for the first session, we met at 1:30. We said, okay, we would be there to help to set up the art and craft room for the activities. But after the first session, we felt that we should go earlier. So we agreed, okay, we'll meet at 1 p.m. so that we could set up the place and help to porter some of the residents to the room. But to our surprise, when we turned up for our second session at 1 p.m., we found a few residents waiting for us outside the art and craft room. They were in wheelchair and they came to the room themselves. And we were very surprised and asked them, and they told us that they really enjoyed the session, the very first session, and look forward to the subsequent ones. And they were so excited. They could not sleep. They could not sleep the nights before. And so they decided that, okay, we'll come early to meet you all. Right, so I was so touched. And I told myself that I would not miss out on any of the sessions. Right,
so I guess that continues to fire your passion for volunteering, right? There's always something to look forward to, especially I think it's the smiles on their faces that truly, is etched in your heart. Thank you for sharing with us. And for those of you who are watching our live stream right now, and if you have also similar experience volunteering, share with us via the Q&A poll. Let us know how was your experience in volunteering. Maybe you can tell us where you volunteered in the first place, and what did you learn, and any positive episodes that you could share with us, some stories you could share with us to inspire the rest of us. So please go ahead and use the Q&A poll and share with us. So next up, I also like to ask each and every one of our speakers here with us this very afternoon to share with us one or two things, or maybe more things if you can contribute. what are the benefits of like volunteering? So is that like a change in your the way you look at life, your perspective, your mindset, or maybe it continue to also inspire the rest around you? So maybe you can pick up one to a few things that truly benefited you from volunteering in a course of work. So any one of you can just chime in. I must speak the name. Okay, Nicholas hasn't been speaking for a while. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think for me, the main thing is to understand how other people are going through their lives, and realize how no matter how bad you feel your life is, there's always somebody else out there that probably needs help, and any little thing that you do to try and help will benefit others. So I think it's gaining new skills, meeting new people, and all that. All those are great as well. But it is being. I mean, to me personally, it's about being grateful for what we have. And Singaporeans love to complain. So just realize, just remember, stop complaining so much, and there are always people that you can help.
Yeah, and start appreciating the little things in life,
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent it's kind of true, but if we always like, oh, this is not good enough, or like I don't have more of this, but we are blessed in such a way that we do have. It's just that you have to look at yourself like, I do have enough, I'm loved, I can share the love around. Yeah, so don't complain. Start volunteering. Okay. So Shamima, would you like to share with us any things that you have, benefited you during this course of volunteering with NLB?
Well, personally, it gave me purpose. And I was so busy volunteering with so many different activities. I always had something to look forward to. And personally, it did benefit for me because about 2-3 years ago, I went into hospital for a spinal surgery. And then when I was recovering, and the physiotherapist kept asking me, what's my goal? I said, my goal is to be able to get up, move around, and then to be able to go back to the library and participate in all the activities. So you could say that the library has been a large motivating factor in my life and also helped in my healing. And what I really loved about it was meeting up with like-minded people, and also the challenges of running, being involved in the different interest groups enabled me to meet other people and learn from them as well, and also to face the challenges like for instance COVID, and to do things differently, to think about how to do things differently in order to continue and not just give up. So yeah, that's been important.
There's a lot of like management skills, I would say. People management, events management, right? Okay, managing people is also, you need a lot of skill sets in that.
Yeah, but it's just the joy of doing everything.
Yeah, it's a joy, right? Yeah, of learning new things and overcoming them. And Michelle, would you like to share with us one or two things, or maybe a couple of things that, has benefited you the most through this course of volunteering?
Right. So actually, we make many friends through volunteering, right? And it's not just friends while you do the volunteer, but we actually get together to do things outside volunteering. And we find interest and actually go out, say, hiking or enjoy something together, right? And of course, through the volunteering, I've actually gained much more, like what from the food bank and NLB, where you actually meet other people, the other community, and find out their needs. And so it actually inspired you to want to continue to help others.
That sounds like a very exciting journey. So share with us, especially to all the viewers who are watching us live right now, if I want to volunteer for your organization, how can I do so? Maybe we'll start with the food bank, Nicholas.
Hi everybody. So if you want to come and try out volunteering in food bank, you can go to our website at foodbank.sg, and then there's of course a very easy link. Just click there, or you can just write an email to us. Or reach us out on social media. We're on every single platform, and just say you want to volunteer, and we will get in contact with you really quickly.
Oh, that was really fast. So it's as simple as that. What about for NLB, Shamima? How do they, volunteer?
Well, I think at this point I'd like to ask what happened to our NLB slide. Could we see the slide? Well, actually, for people to volunteer, one, they can email volunteer@nlb.government.sg because if they're not sure what they want. If you send an email, you'll get a reply, and once you're on their mailing list, they will email you to let you know what are the opportunities, which is a great thing because you don't have to keep checking. Secondly, you can also visit the nlb.government.sg volunteers page. You can also send the QR code, and that will also take you to the volunteer portal, and you can see what are all the opportunities that are available. As I said, one of the key things with the Punggol Library opening up next year is a very good time now for people who want to participate in the opening and the development and being part of a new library to volunteer now, because then they have lots and lots of opportunities for doing that. So there's a QR code, there's a website, and
Just
there's an
volunteer.
email. Just volunteer, and don't have to worry about what you need, what you don't need, because the library will provide the necessary training and the skills for you.
Yes, come, join us. And also join RSVP. How can we join RSVP?
To join RSVP, you can scan the QR code that you see on the screen. For that, you will choose to attend one of our events, Ignite at RSVP, where you can learn from other volunteers and staff about the various programs that we have. You can also reach us on our social media pages like Facebook or YouTube to find out about the activities. I'm sure you'll find something interesting.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes, we hope to see you soon. All right, so earlier on, we mentioned that we have a poll and we wanted people to share with us your volunteering experience. And here we have an entry. It says that I volunteered for Minds for a few months, and I really enjoyed talking and playing games with our clients. So I gained so much. I gained more than just clients, I think. Spending time with them helps me to decompress from my daily work, and I truly have a sense of purpose in life. Thank you for sharing with us. I think this is a perfect entry because it sums up the benefits of volunteering. And in our life, sometimes we feel like, you could be burnout, you need to decompress. So volunteering and caring for people is one good way. And next, we have our live Q&A segment, which is right now. So on your right of your screen, that's where we have the Q&A button. Go ahead and type in and pen in your questions for us. So we'll start out because there's a lot of questions that's garnered a lot of votes. Let's start out with this question first. It says, you have volunteered for so many years. So what kept you going in this journey? So this is particularly for Michelle as well as Shamima. Maybe, Michelle, would you like to share with us? So what kept you going in this journey?
Because there's so many different volunteering opportunity that you can embark on. Because in fact, every year we have new activities coming in because we partner with various different organizations. So there are always new things. So for people who like to try out new things, yes, you can try new things every year. And of course, there are those who are very passionate about a particular cause, right? And because the way that you interact, I think because you're genuinely wanting to help someone. So, and in return, you get that appreciation, that smile, and that keeps you going, right? Like, for example, for my training at the Majestic, I find that my trainees, the seniors that come, they will give me feedback, direct feedback, very honest. They'll tell me, I enjoy the class, and you can hear the laughter, right? And them chit-chatting and learning along the way. That actually inspired me to continue, to come back, to continue giving different trainings to them.
Yeah, you do want to come back and be part of the laughter and join them in this happiness, right? Yeah, so it's part of being this community together. And Shamima, would you like to share with us what continued to inspire you to stay on in this journey? Is it because there could be more things that you could contribute and bring value to the community?
Yes, definitely, because when I started, like I said, I started with one little thing, and it was just a little seed, and then it spread and became a tree. And so what I found is that, once you get started, it just grows and you keep moving on, and then new opportunities that come up and different experiences. And in the process, I learn new things, meet new people. maybe perhaps gain new skills as well. So it is a learning journey, and you know, like I said, life is always about learning. So yes, so every single experience, every single activity is a learning journey. It broadens my experience, and also enables me to meet new people and to make a difference in their lives, to see the joy in participation. And even simple things like shelving of books, helping people find books in the library, or you know, sharing, that basically is about sharing with others.
Sharing is loving indeed. And now I want to answer this question from this viewer. He or she said that I do not have time to volunteer as I'm already doing a few. Can I make food donation instead? This is to Nicholas.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for volunteering to whichever organization you are going to. If you have any food donations, you can go to our website to check out where the bank boxes are. If it's a little bit bigger and you can't seem to carry them to the bank box, do write us an email or contact us. We would get in touch with you and see how we can maybe try and pick up from you.
I see. There's also a question for you, like if the food stuff at home is like about to expire, does food bank accept them, or is there a certain shelf life before they donate?
We try to request for at least a minimum 1 month shelf life, so that we have time to turn over the food. But special cases less than a month, we might be able to accept as well.
I see. Okay, that's for you guys to always remember. All right, and next question is also for Nicholas. Now, the viewer says that I don't have, the other viewer said, like, apart from working with schools, do food bank work with the community sectors, and how can we help to spread the word?
Oh, I think we do work with a lot of community sectors. The over 375 organizations that we help are from the community sector. And if you want to help spread the word, do follow us on social media. And every time we post something, help us to repost it, do word of mouth, tell your friends, tell your family, and then
make it viral.
and make it viral. And of course, come down and volunteer, and you know firsthand what we're doing. And then we are very sure and we hope that you get a good experience out of it, and you can share.
Yeah, gain new skill, and you'll find newfound happiness within you. And the next question is for Michelle. It says that, does RSVP provide training to new volunteers?
Yes, definitely. For a start, new volunteers it's a must to attend our Be an Effective Volunteer training, right? So that's soft skill, because you're interacting with people, so you need to know how to handle people. So that actually helps, and there's a little of a role play during the class too, right? And other than that, when you volunteer at different partner organizations, they would give you the free briefing, so that they tell you the do's and the don'ts and what is expected of you. And of course, you are not alone in that session. There would be others, and the ones who have been volunteering more would also share their knowledge and help you along. Yeah.
That's right. So you will not feel totally awkward, like I do not know what to do, I feel so out of place. So this is a very good orientation and also role play, whereby I think it will give you a sort of simulation to the kind of scenarios that you would meet. So perfect. So we're going to give training for the new volunteers who's going to volunteer with RSVP. Now, our next question, let's quickly go through this. Can volunteers of the library be involved in screening or checking the new titles of books, and also removing them from the collection? So this is particularly to Shamima from NLB.
I would say email volunteers at nlb.government.sg and ask them that. But I do know that in the past, you see, the library has this portal for volunteers, which lists volunteering opportunities. So when they have a need for volunteers for a specific project, then they will put out a call and say they need volunteers on a particular date and a particular time who would like to volunteer, and then you can register and sign in. So it covers a lot of different things. So if you're asking specifically for one specific thing, I would say the best persons
to ask
the library. Ask the library if you don't see a volunteering opportunity on the portal.
Okay, because it's very specific. So I think for the shelving of the book, new titles and all, just As a library, thank you. And next question is, are there any non-people facing volunteer work available? Maybe Nicholas can share with us, because some people are not very comfortable with dealing with people. So behind the scene, are there any one opportunity that they could dabble in?
I think with any volunteer job, there will be some people facing, but the minimum people facing, for example, if we need people to assist in coming up with marketing materials or editing a video, or even just collecting food from the bank boxes. So those are slightly minimal people facing. So it's not every volunteer situation you have to talk to people forever and ever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of tough sometimes just to talk to people. But when it comes to like dialect phasing elderlies, I may have a little problem. So we tried. It was a little bit awkward, but after that, you have a splatter of Mandarin, Hokkien, and all. It works. But you know, for volunteers, it can be quite daunting for the very first time. Yeah, for those of you who wants to have a non-people phasing, there are just collection of the food from point to point. Maybe I don't know, your driver.
Yes, we definitely need more drivers. So if you can volunteer your time, you don't even need your own transport. We can provide the vehicle. You can just come as long as you have a valid driver's license. Just drop by and then you can drive the van, and it's auto, so you don't even need to drive
manual.
Yeah. You can drive, and then we probably will have somebody following you as well, and then you can go pick up food.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay. All right. So then the next question is, I'm keen to volunteer in IT, but not IT trained. So nor am I IT savvy. So how and where can I start?
Okay, so actually for RSVP, our IT training for the seniors at the Majestic, it doesn't really require you to be really IT savvy. Because before we start our apps class, we actually do have a training for our trainers, right? And so you get to learn what is the application about, you try it out yourself, and you can also start off as an assistant, right? So we have, say a class, we have a maximum of 20 people, and we will have one trainer that delivers the training and a few others who assist, because you will actually be working together with the other seniors. So the assistant doesn't need to deliver the entire class, but just help out, like check what's the problem. Yeah, so you can start off with being an assistant trainer, right? Yeah, so.
Yeah, so we do a bit of task dedication. Yes, Shamima, you have something to add?
Yes, I just want to add something, and this was relating to, I noticed a question about non-people volunteering, not having
non-people facing
volunteering. Because the library has got this major project, which involves, one is providing information on all places in Singapore, which does not require you to face anyone. The other one is transcribing the oral records, because we have had volunteers who have taken oral recordings of Singapore's history, and they need people to listen to the records and then transcribe it. And they also have cases of translation, like translating from Jawi into Malay or other languages. So there's lots of opportunities available for people who don't want to face, for volunteers who don't want to face people.
Yeah, so if you have the talent, and you are very good with languages, we will need you at NLB. Okay, so now we have time for the final question, and this is for every one of you. So what do you enjoy most from volunteering? Share with us, any one of you.
Meeting people.
Meeting people. You just love meeting people.
Yes, I love meeting people. I enjoy the interaction with them. So it gives me joy, because I learn different things, right? Because in the conversation, you may learn more about a different organization. You may learn more about what they used to like, things like that. And I think generally the people that we work with, they probably want to be listened to, right? They may be isolated. They do not have people to talk to, right? So working with them, you just give them the chance to talk.
Yes.
Right.
And you do see people in person, that gives you the greatest joy, right? So for me also, I think hosting in studio versus hosting in person, I really like meeting people, if that's our character. Okay, so Nicholas, would you like to share with us?
I think
Your take
I
on
think,
this?
I think all of us would probably say similar things, but similar to Michelle, it's the interaction with the people, not just with the volunteers, but the people you're helping. And I think personally for me, whenever I see a smile and to anybody, so again, volunteers, all the people you're helping, and that puts a smile to my face.
No wonder you're perpetually smiling. Yes. Okay, and also the greatest enjoyment from volunteering. Shamima, share with us.
It's the interaction with other people, and then meeting not just volunteers, but the people who come. And also because for me especially, one of the things about our ukulele jamming group was that after getting people together to make music and then being given the opportunity to perform at library events, and then we have other people coming, and then when you play and sing for them, having the audience join in and clap, and to see the joy and enjoyment. So it is about spreading happiness, enabling people to learn and to carry on and just to enjoy themselves and to be happy.
Yes, always be happy. And I hope that you're happy from all the information that we shared with you with regards to volunteering. There's many avenues to do so. But first and foremost, you must start with a willing heart and have the passion to do so. And in order to do so, we have shared with you our QR code and our website URL. So I hope that right after this session, you can go and sign up. And please join me in thanking our speakers for this afternoon. I know you can't clap because you're at home right now, but you could type like a thank you or something. All right. So thank you so much, Michelle, Nicholas, as well as Shamima.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.